Hello, I'm back. I had some information I wanted to go over with you about Mount Rushmore. I was looking through some pictures that I'd taken when I traveled across the United States, and I actually saw this thing, Mount Rushmore. And knowing what I know about it, it's an abomination to even be there. Number one, it's on stolen land. Number one. Number two, the people that you're looking at were not who they really are. As usual, just like everything you'll find in this country now, and there's so much underlying lies, and that has been whitewashed. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. But we're not going to go there. I'm going to let you hear it for yourself. Uh, when I look at Mount Rushmore, it's one of those places where, you know, when Babylon hits, it's going to be one of the first ones to go. It will crumble. I would love to be there when it happened and actually see it crumble. I'd like to see those faces just crumble, because what they advocate and what they really were is a damn lie. Okay, but I'm not going to go in there. Here you go. Hear it for yourself.
Image Mount Rushmore is often presented as a neutral tribute to American greatness. But when you examine who these men actually were, what they did, and whose land and labor made America possible, the monument raises unavoidable questions about hypocrisy, selective memory, and power. Let's look at the four faces, not the mythology, but the record. What Mount Rushmore is and where it sits. Mount Rushmore is carved into the Black Hills, a sacred area to the Lakota Sioux. The land was guaranteed to them by treaty, then taken after gold was discovered. So before we even get to the faces, the monument itself stands on stolen land in direct violation of U.S. law. That context matters. Number 1. George Washington, what he preached: liberty, independence, freedom from tyranny. What he practiced: enslaved over 300 human beings, pursued enslaved people who escaped, signed laws protecting slavery. Washington fought tyranny, but only when it applied to white colonists. Freedom stopped at the plantation gate. Number 2. Thomas Jefferson, what he preached: all men are created equal. What he practiced: enslaved 600 plus people, raped enslaved women, including Sally Hemings, profited from forced labor his entire life. Jefferson wrote words that inspired the world while living off a system that denied humanity to the very people who built his wealth. This is not irony. It is contradiction, institutionalized. Theodore Roosevelt, what he preached: American strength, progress, civilization. What he practiced: open advocate of white supremacy, believed Native Americans were destined to disappear, supported imperialism and colonial violence. Roosevelt didn't just benefit from oppression, he openly justified it as moral and necessary. Number 4. Abraham Lincoln, what he preached: union, emancipation. What he practiced, complex but important, did not initially believe in racial equality. Considered deporting black people from the U.S. Emancipation was a war strategy, not a moral awakening. Lincoln is often treated as the exception. But even he operated within a system that never imagined black people as equals. So what does Mount Rushmore really represent? Not freedom, not equality, not justice. It represents selective memory, power deciding the narrative, whitewashed heroism, erasure of indigenous peoples, silence about enslaved labor. The people who actually built America, enslaved Africans, indigenous nations, exploited workers, are absent. Their labor is in the foundation. Their faces are nowhere in stone. Is it hypocrisy? Yes, by definition. A nation that says land of the free while carving slaveholders into stolen land is not celebrating freedom. It is celebrating who was allowed to define it. The real question: Mount Rushmore doesn't just tell us who America honors. It tells us who America has refused to confront. The monument is not neutral history. It is a statement of values frozen in granite. And the question isn't, open quote, should it come down, close quote. The real question is, open quote, what would America look like if it told the whole truth? Close quote. If you want, I can turn this into a museum style.
Okay, another fact. I know you don't care. Some of you are not going to care no matter what. You will care though, eventually, not maybe about that, about maybe keeping the fire off of your behind, but but actually it's not gonna happen that way probably. It might. There's gonna be so many things happen in these last days. A whole lot of things gonna be happening. And as long as you're floating around on the other side, you'll get to see what they are. Hopefully, I plan to be on the other side, and maybe I'll be looking over there at it. I'm just not planning to be part of it. I'm gonna be just kind of looking, and it would be even better if I didn't even have to see it. As truth comes out, Babylon dies, and that's what people don't get. In other words, a lie is no good when no one believes it. You can sit here and tell all the lies you want, but if everybody's already know the truth, your lie has no power. And that's the way it works. The lie that white supremacy doesn't exist, gone, isn't it? It was gone in black people. We knew it all along, because we've had to live with it. But most of y'all walked around denying it. It's not here anymore. Because you got a black president. Right. Like we were stupid enough to believe that. You got to remember, we see your white supremacy every single day of our lives. Everywhere we turn, it's there. Everything that we touch, it's there. Every law and everything that's been put in for this country, this entire country is built on white supremacy. It's everything ain't about race. Bullshit. You don't see it because you're on the side of the oppressor. You're on that side, so you can't see it. It's like me walking along looking behind me. You can't do that. If you walk in that direction, I can only see in that direction. Unless I've got a mirror. And most of you don't own a mirror. You know why? Because you don't even look at your own face. Can't see, kind of lack what you see in your face. You can put it up there, your face might melt off. So, if you don't understand, then that doesn't make you exempt. It just means you just flush down the toilet and don't know how you got there. You just end up in the land of the turds and won't even know how you got there. Of course, that's going to be a dirty, stinky thing to do. But we won't go there. If you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. You can share it if you like. You can subscribe. And your comments are welcome. It's not going to change anything. You can get it off your chest. Because I know some of you don't like what I see. I don't care. I'm not saying it for you. It's just like the Super Bowl. It wasn't for you. That's why you didn't understand it. But millions upon millions of people did get it. Even old people like me, I got it. You know why? The oppressed could see it. The oppressor couldn't see it. That's the thing that y'all don't realize. Even back in slavery, we were always smarter than some people. We were always able to get messages out right in your face, and you didn't know what it was. You just said, they so stupid, they don't know nothing. They couldn't be doing nothing. Yes, we would. When we sang a song, it was a message. When we danced, it was a message. Any kind of beating of the drums or whatever, it was a message. Everybody knew about these messages. Even the Indians, they knew about messaging. Y'all didn't know because y'all didn't have no rhythm. Your idea of rhythm was that was it, But we ain't gonna go there. I wish all of you happiness. I hope many of you make it to the other side. Yahweh's waiting, but you got to seek Him. It just don't happen, baby. You better go back and look at which lies you've been told, and decide which way you want to go while there's possibly enough time. Have a good day. I think I will not make any more videos tonight. I think I'm going to go eat. Take care now.